Welcome to It's a Fit Life Creation podcast with me, Katrina Julia. I'm a lifestyle entrepreneur and a transformation coach. Jumpstart transformation to time to transform, to boss brand, to moneymaker, to inspiring with influence and more. So let's create. And I lost over 55 pounds 4 years ago with the help of Herbalife Nutrition, meal bags, Team Edge, NASA, a certified public accountant. I've served in over 8 industries, generating others over 7 to 9 figure results consistently while having my own money in chaos to create a life and a business I love. It's about the passion, the purpose, the people, and the profits to create a life and a business you love. Tune in to the stories and the journey as we create It's a Fit Life Creation.
Welcome to 7 ways to make money. So here we're focusing on creating wealth. If you haven't tuned in before into the 6-Pack of Wealth episode, I would highly recommend that you do, or the how to clear the mess in your mind with money, because that's going to all relate and connect to this. And then if you want more, you can also create with us in our 14-day challenge with health, wealth, and business, and or the free webinar on the moneymaker as well. So let's get into 7 ways to make money. So most of us were not taught to do what we love and actually make money. Many of us, myself included, were shown examples of fearing money or how to work for someone else and make money, but not necessarily be true to yourself. Or not just that, but oftentimes, I think many of us don't realize sometimes how we shut down ideas that others have that could actually innovate and inspire and take, entrepreneurship, businesses, brands to the next level. Because again, a lot of that is tied to fear and someone perhaps not giving freedom to themselves. So as a certified public accountant who has helped others make and surface 7+ figures annually, year over year, even up to 8 figures in a year, I also struggled until 2011 for years in turning my passion into profit. So I'm right there where many of you are. And my journey with life and with money and with people, with passion, with purpose, with people, and with profits is ever evolving. So don't think for a second I'm speaking from an elevated point at all. I've definitely experienced a ton. And I definitely hope something in my life or in my story or my transformation helps you. And I thought to myself, if I had so much evidence and so much external evidence of results myself, yet my own mindset and my own money, I couldn't see passion plus purpose turning into profits, then I started to really think about, imagine what everyone else felt like. Or I started to think about, I started to also think about, what if I shared this more? What if I helped more people clear the clutter and get clear? And what if we then channeled that energy as we untangled that mess in our minds and our money to serve more, to create more, to be more, to give more, with things like helping end homelessness, helping end cancer, military vets, and battered women, and more. So speaking of feeling, and speaking of imagination, how often do you celebrate pursuing your passion plus purpose and people? For some of you, how often do you celebrate the feeling of traveling the world or even traveling your city? So right now I'm in Atlanta, you guys, and I'll purposely sometimes even stay at an Airbnb or go out of town. Like I recently went to Madison, Georgia and stayed at an alpaca farm just to create like the stimulation of a different experience and getting me out of my space and my comfort zone. And it's truly a gift. And believe me that many, many people may benefit from your insight and your journey and your story and your experiences. So let's dive into 7 ways to make money. If this doesn't get you excited, I don't know what else will. So I'm going to share a couple things here, and then I'm going to share also some bonuses that are in our 7-day challenge and or the sneak peek into our monthly mastermind. So in the past several years, no surprise, social media has blown up. Literally, stop and think about who would have thought that today, for free, people from anywhere in the world we can freely post whatever we want. We can post videos, we can go live, we can list a video like this on YouTube, on Instagram, on podcasts. I mean, it's exponential. Years ago, you guys, you had to pay for commercials, okay? Step 2, who would have thought you could make money, that it would become an advertising source? So typically, you have different levels of influencers as far as social media is concerned. People with less than 10,000 followers to 10,000 plus, and then more and more brands, ourselves included, because we also connect, create, cultivate with influencers on our platform with Fit Life Creation, with challenges, with masterminds, academies, retreats, and more. More and more brands are looking at engagement because that's a true leverage of community. It's no different than in person. Like, for example, if you go to a networking event, right? Are you the person that goes to 50 different people, but then you can't remember their name? Or are you the person that maybe goes to 10, but you actively engage and you know 3 to 5 things about their life? I've always been the other one. It sometimes would be 2 or 3 people at one event. So thinking about this and leverage to social, you guys, so many brands, more and more, are recognizing that influencer marketing has 10% higher, 25% higher return on investment than other types of advertisement. So product posts or lifestyle posts or reading like travel or behind the scenes or as part of your life, more and more are increasing recognition and results with relationships, with authenticity, with actual use. Now, keep in mind, just like in real life, you recognize if an influencer is posting, say, on their 9 grid on Instagram, just to focus on Instagram for a bit, you recognize if, I just attached my heel to my shoe, so hold on just a second. You recognize if every post is a different brand, and not even a different brand, but a different health brand, right? So you're like, okay, well, what do you really use? And that goes for influencers too, you guys. Like, be mindful of the messaging you send based on what you do. Versus, like, for example, I just talked about, I've used Herbalife consistently for over 6 years. I use 6-pack meal bags consistently for over 6 years. Those are the only nutritional brands I use as far as for supplements and for meal bags. So people know when they come to my account, it's very consistent, it's very stable. Now, years ago, I might have been all over the place, so zero judgment, because I didn't realize, like, when I was jumping from, say, company to company or different thing to different thing, what the perception was, right? So the more we become aware, the more we can become intentional and get clear, and the more we become clear, the more in alignment we are. So, and then the other thing is, too, is social media, you guys. You want to think about guest posts on different platforms or podcast features. That's one of the reasons why we also do podcast features. We recently featured Tailwind, which is a tool for Pinterest. We recently featured Kajabi, which is also a tool that we use in our platform to create the automation in our courses and what we teach others to do. So you can see the direct correlation and authenticity and relationship, because I've learned from my own experiences. And then I've also thought about perception. So you can make money from social media posts. If you're a brand, you can also invest in influencers as well. Also with brands, we integrate brands authentically as we connect and create, cultivate into our experiences with influencers as well. So then content, paid content, you can approach brands on your own or use apps like Muses, Tribe, Rep, Collaborate. Those are just some of the apps that we also list on as a brand. You can create guides, you guys. You can create guides about food, about fashion, about social media, about influencers. You can see examples of guides on our fitlifecreation.com platform as well. You can do articles, paid, non-paid as well. Because again, keep in mind, you guys, that always look at the exposure. Always realize that if even when you do things for free, they can lead to something paid. That's something that I also got to learn more and more and more, or go back to my roots as how I was as a child. Like when you do things that you love, for example, I was in Colorado a couple weeks ago. I was sharing video, I was sharing pictures and tagging Visit Colorado. Well, the campaign manager reached out to me, and I had in my mind that I'm going to show what it's like if you utilize me as a videographer or use us as a videographer or a content creator for a press trip. That was the intention behind it, and then just sharing my life. Visit Colorado messaged me and said, we want to use your videos and your photos for our winter campaign. So that creates more exposure for other cities and states to see what's possible by creating with us. You see the mindset. Go live, you guys. Like, there's so much access nowadays with social media to go live for free. It's a freaking free commercial, okay? So actually, speaking of which, it just reminded me to go ahead and go live because I haven't filmed live today. I filmed live earlier this week with some workouts, but I was like, wait, let me go ahead and do this on Instagram right now. So you're literally seeing me or hearing me do this right now behind the scenes. So I'm practicing what I preach. Okay. So let me just get situated here real quick. I know I'm hilarious. I crack myself up too. Okay, perfect. So I'm literally right now, I just set up my phone, you guys. I'm live. So I'm also recording the podcast and I'm also recording on video. So like the power of leverage, okay? So the other thing is you want to also think about affiliates. So for example, I'm a Herbalife. Hey, thanks for joining, Jesus. I also am a proud Herbalife member and distributor. And with Herbalife, like people don't realize, not only is it a health tool, but it's also a money-making tool where you can, just by sharing your journey, just by sharing your results, there's part-time to full-time income opportunities, just like with anything else, depending on your level of work, hustle, and results, then you can also make money. So I use that as an introduction because a lot of people don't realize that Herbalife Nutrition is very similar to a profit sharing model, to an affiliate model, to no different than when you work for someone else, you guys. Like, keep in mind, when you're working for someone else, you're still doing something with people, whether it's working in an office, helping in oil and gas, helping in retail, helping in apartments, whatever it is, right? Hey, thanks for joining. So like some of the other like affiliate ways, besides that some of you may relate to if you're bloggers, influencers, whatever the case is Amazon affiliates, Blog Her List, WordPress, Wix. Like for example, not only am I a proud Herbalife member, I'm also an affiliate with Kajabi because I use Kajabi to create our courses. So it makes total sense. Thanks for joining, you guys. Also with 6-pack meal bags, also with ClassPass that we list on our bonuses in our 7-day challenge and in our monthly mastermind. So for the monthly mastermind, you guys, you can also join for free. And on day 13, I give you a whole list of bonuses. So it's 12 different themes on health, money, and business. And on day 13, you get links to Herbalife. You get links to ClassPass, you get links to Airbnb, you get links to Instacart. You get all these amazing tools for health, money, and business. So if you haven't joined yet, you can follow the link in bio if you're on Instagram. If you are on our website, fitlifecreation.com/freebies. So let's see, press. So are you wanting to do press trips? So you guys on live, we're actually doing, I'm doing an article right now and I'm filming on camera. I'm recording a podcast. And I'm live with you on 7 ways to make money. So that's literally what we're talking about here, just so you kind of catch you guys up. And thank you so much for joining. Press. Are you wanting to do press trips? So Typically, you see where it's like over 10,000 is where more and more brands start to reach out. However, you guys, keep in mind that you have value besides the number of followers. So for example, you can see an example of this on fitlifecreation.com/creator, where I share different points of value that I have and that we have with health, with money, with business, with community, with working and collaborating with influencers. So it's all about how you position yourself with anything. Like you guys, that's how and why I was able to get promoted through retail, through energy, through all these different things, because I learned very quickly, like, value yourself and be humble at the same time. Like, always be a student. And it's a very interesting dynamic, and it's very interesting depending on who you're talking to and how you're presenting yourself. So just check in with yourself, and then also like be mindful of how you respond to people. Like, for example, today I got a response back on press trips from a mega brand. Like, I'm talking a multi-billion-dollar brand, you guys. And from a multi-billion-dollar brand, okay? And I literally gave them value. I'm not going to name the name of the brand because I don't believe in gossip. I don't believe in slander. And I believe in edification. But what I will say is it's a multi-billion-dollar brand. And I will say that I gave them tons of value. Like I said, hey, I'm willing to feature your press person on our podcast. I'm willing to feature, and I'm not asking them to do any work. So keep in mind, I'm willing to feature the influencers that you bring on press trips, nationally, globally, whatever. I'm willing to do a press trip, do videos, do content, do live. So I gave them options. So listen to the mindset, you guys. Options, options, options. I'm willing to do hands-on health, money, and business workshops. Okay, so options and tons of value. And I'm not asking them to do anything other than to say yes, right? Because it could even be that they say, hey, we'll give you a free stay in Atlanta. So that's the other thing you want to think about. You want to make things simple for people, and you want to also create the value, and then you want to also think about how you can get them to say yes. And I got a response, you guys, which actually blew me away. It was like, hey, we love the ideas, it's great, etc., but we don't have the capacity for this. And I was like, what? And it reminded me, you guys, of years ago in corporate. I had the same kind of experiences. So I knew it was a test of my own personal growth. I'm like, what? You don't have the capacity? Like, I'm asking you to record a podcast, whether it's in person or virtual. I'm doing all the work. I'm asking you if maybe I can spend a night or a day or a week either on my own or with a group, and I'm going to do the workshops. Like, I'm not asking you to do any work other than to give us maybe a free room, and then maybe consider, a extended social media collaboration or press, right? And I'm not asking you to do any work, but this tells you where people's minds are at, you guys, or sometimes that people don't focus, and to give them the benefit of the doubt and just reiterate what you said. And so I just looked at it, and years ago, I would have reacted, and I would have been like, what, blah, 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 and I would have taken it left field, and I would have taken it personal. Personal growth, personal development. Thank you, God. Thank you, Creator. Thank you, Universe. I just took a deep breath. I'm like, maybe she's just really busy. Maybe she didn't really read, because a lot of times people don't read. Maybe whatever. Let me summarize it for her. So she maybe will go back and read it. Or let me also accept and realize, you guys, that here's the other thing. Sometimes it's not the right brand, and sometimes it's not the right person, and sometimes it's not the right time. So recognizing and realizing to not take things personal for agreements, if you haven't read that. So I then just responded gracefully. I was like, thank you so, so much. I really appreciate the response, gratitude over everything. I really appreciate the response. And here's the other thing I realized, okay, God, if this is happening, then maybe you're creating space for something even bigger or a better aligned brand. So always flip it, you guys, to gratitude and what else is possible, and to keep going. So I said, hey, thank you so, so much for the response. I so appreciate it. And then I put in a very small paragraph, very clear, very focused, very simple, that, hey, if, something changes, because I'm just responding to how she worded it, right? That they don't have the capacity. I said, if something changes, and you or someone on your team or some of the influencers would like to be featured on our podcast, host a press trip, allow us to host wellness workshops and transformation masterminds, and or add revenue streams. So you can see how I was very crystal clear for the value. Please feel free to reach out. Thank you and have an amazing day. And that was it. And I just reflected on it. Like, I was so proud of myself for the growth, you guys, and just amazed at how sometimes people also miss value and how we sometimes just go faster and faster and faster and don't realize maybe what we're missing. So it made me also think about, like, what have I possibly missed in the past, right? Then the other thing is, you guys, is don't, like, even with press trips, whether you're doing them by yourself or you want to travel more, like, in the notes, in the show notes, I'm also, and in the latest episode where I did a sneak peek on our flyaway and sneak peeks to how to get press trips, I included a link to Hilton and to Four Seasons and several others. Like, just like with anything else, you guys, if it's something you really want to do, tag different cities, tag different brands, whether it's Hilton, boutique hotels. Like, I recommend you start with boutique hotels or smaller hotels. And then again, just keep in mind, everyone's mind is not on influencer marketing. Every city, every country, every state, every manager. So it's just a matter of persistence and patience and faith. So just a second for you guys that I'm recording the video. Let me go back live on Instagram because for some reason it like timed out. I think it was the connection, but that's okay. So keep in mind, you just keep going and it's persistence. So speaker, have you ever thought about speaking, or maybe you already speak and you want to get more speaking gigs, or expanding your brand to social, to video, to conferences? There's so many, just in that, you guys, there's over 5 income streams. That basically you may approach people's press. Why not also approach them as a speaker? So for example, this year alone, I've also reached out to Pinners Conference, which is a focus on pinners and on Pinterest and, you know, helping with that as well. And I got selected for 4 different states. So super, super grateful for that. And you guys, it's just researching and it's reaching out. I also recently connected and reached out to Travel Bloggers Exchange International. So it's always thinking about what other industries, circles of influence, expanding. Oh, and at Pinners, I'm actually going to be doing hands-on DIY smoothie bowls, which we've recently done also at WeWork. So you can also research like PRSA, which is Public Relations Society, is also another great resource. And then also, you guys, you want to think about being an expert. So speaking of being an expert, what about producing your own content for your brand? Think everything from your blog to free, to paid guides, to membership subscriptions, to courses, to retreats, to academies, and more. Think about, so that in itself is another 5 income streams. So I said 7 ways to make money because I grouped it into 7, but I actually gave you so much more. So just to recap, you guys, let's go back to social. So social, you could be collaborating with brands and getting paid for posts and videos. You could be being paid for content, let's say guides. You could be a Herbalife nutrition member or coach. You could be an affiliate for, say, at least another 2 sources. So that's 5 income streams already. You could be doing press trips, whether getting hotels in kind or actually social media collaborations. So that's 6. You could be a speaker. So that's 7. You could be getting speaker fees. You could be an expert. So that's 8, creating content with guides, which we already said. Memberships, that's 9. Courses, that's 10. Retreats, that's 11. Academies, that's 12 income streams. And then ultimately, this could lead into you creating your own lifestyle brand, like what we've created with Fit Life Creation, an all-in-one lifestyle brand with health, money, and business in one, with the tips, tools, and technology integrated, with business-to-business integrations, with influencers, with also utilizing it as a fundraising platform and more. So create the world that you want to see. It's limitless and it starts within. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in with me on It's a Fit Life Creation podcast. If you haven't already, head on over to our fitlifecreation.com website, follow us on all our social channels, and explore our freebies library. You'll find freebies on health, freebies on wealth, freebies on biz, and all in one. Explore at our experiences, events, influencers. We help the community and influencers get healthy, make money, and build brands to create a life and a business you love.